Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Carl.
I'm Cameron,
Yeah. Okay.
and I got beer.
How you like that?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Sorry I was a little late. I was trying to finish up getting dinner cooked.
Yeah, that's all right. Did you get it cooked?
Yeah, it's done. I got it right here. Parents were, or my mom was trying to send me a pizza and didn't pay attention. They canceled the order on her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because apparently they don't have any delivery drivers. I told them you probably ain't going to be able to order food today.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Being Christmas and everything. And we had a good time up there at BB's Down Home Cooking today. Altogether, the totals were 298 meals that were
Wow.
delivered and donated out. And if you'd seen what they had and ate and everything, that would have been a good $10 to $12 meal on a Christmas day there. So they gave out over $4,000 worth of food.
Holy cow.
So
That's a lot of
yeah,
money.
yeah. And on Christmas Day, man, we had up to 18 to 20 people watching most of the 3 hours that we were up there.
That's good.
Yeah,
I mean, to be surprised, or I'm not surprised, we had, what, three people most of last night?
yeah, yeah. We were up quite a few on quite a few of them and stuff. Justin goes, "Yeah, this one's going to get banned on Facebook." Nah,
Eh,
it ain't going to.
won't be the first time.
Yep, wouldn't be the first time we've been banned.
Won't be the last, too.
No, no, no.
I'm surprised that 1700 Summer hadn't been banned.
Well, I'm surprised WO and radio show hadn't been banned. Sometimes language gets a little rough on there, but they let us keep going. So if it gets banned, Justin can sit there and argue with them when it pops up on his phone.
I'm pretty sure everybody's going to argue with them on that one.
Yeah.
Watch banner shows. Watch banner shows. Come on. Give us an
Yeah,
answer.
that's right. Nothing wrong with it. If they ban it, it's because of the Constitution. You know, what I got in the background, what I got behind me, that's in the Constitution.
Very much so.
And there's our friend Julie Little Spud popping in from Australia.
Yep. 8 people watching right now. I'm kind of surprised. It's Christmas.
Yep. Well, they're all done. The kids are all playing with the toys and they're kicked back, relaxed, and everything, you know.
They're ready to unwind from today's festivities.
Yeah, that's true. I'm unwinding up there and stuff. It was rough sitting back there and seeing all that food and smelling it. And I mean, it was hot. They had the hot bar out there and it was just a steaming in there. But what I told everybody on the show, you got to realize there was probably 12 people working at the restaurant that gave up their Christmas day to do this, right? And not only that, we had 4 gentlemen that volunteered to deliver the meals. And they delivered them up to, well, Lake Viking is 3, 5, 7 miles away.
Wow.
Christina, big lady. Hey, thank you so much for being live at BB's. Loved it. You were awesome. You're very welcome, Christine. You know, we invited back up there anytime. And I got to get a hold of Richie. They want us to do a Valentine comedy show up there.
Yeah, that'll have to watch. I'm not a huge fan of Valentine's Day. I think I got one Valentine's legitimate gift my entire life, and I had to actually ask for it.
Yeah, it's one of those days that, you know, some people like, some people don't like, you know. To me and the old lady's been together long enough, and every day's Valentine's Day the way I look at it. So, hey.
Yeah. I'd rather have a second Halloween.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that, Christine. They delivered all the way to Liberty, Missouri, which was 75 miles away today.
Oh,
Oh, wow. That
wow.
is awesome. I
That's
mean, you're looking at a little bitty restaurant that's been in business for about 8 months, right? That has done more for our little community of 1,800 people up here. And they just stepped up to the plate.
75 miles.
And then the Inner Peace Reserve was with them and stuff. And they're they're an organization that helps alcoholics, drug users, but now they've opened it up to veterans with PSTD up here on the big Admendment Ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I was be glad part of and learn more about it. So, and one lady couldn't be with her kids, so she was in front of the camera waving. The kids were watching the show. So, I mean, stuff like that on Christmas Day, that's what it's all about. Everybody got up there, fellowship, the people coming in. You know, the older people were looking at me, what's he doing back there? And they was telling him, Carl's back there. We're live on Facebook. And, well, that's neat.
So we do have an announcement. Me and Mr. Carl are going to be doing a new show starting on Mondays.
Yep.
Called the Second Amendment Show.
You want to call it the Second Amendment or the Second Amendment Ranch?
Well, let's call it the Second Amendment Ranch.
Yeah, because that's what the name of the thing's going to be that we're planning on doing. They might as well go with it.
Yep, might as well continue on. So
yeah. Yeah, Christine put that man did not have a Christmas dinner in 5 years. So we got it to him in Liberty.
My Christmas dinner is basically mac and cheese with meatballs.
Oh, I got done with the show. As I was ending the show, I went up and got the turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, green beans, and everything. And I was stuffed, and they go, "You want dessert?" And I said, "No." So they sent me home with pumpkin pie and apple pie. I've been eating on it.
Pie. That's one thing I do want.
Anyway, I looked up some information on Kickstarter.
I found at least one course we're going to need, and that's going to be a firearm safety instructor course.
And did you find out where we get that at?
No, not yet. I'd have to look for. I got to figure out if I can do it in Texas or if I have to do that up in Missouri.
Probably have to do it up here because I don't know how the licenses transfer. You know, they should transfer. You got all these bigger guys that do that and they travel around the country.
Exactly.
So, but Kickstarter, I got to put all the information together that we decide on into it and send it to them. And then they got to look it over and approve it before we can get the Kickstarter program going.
Okay, so they need basically everything we're planning on doing.
Yep.
That's a lot.
Well, it's a short version of it, you know. And I was watching a couple of YouTube videos on a guy that does a lot of Kickstarter programs and everything. And yeah, it was interesting. Very interesting. And I looked up a couple of properties.
Oh, how'd that go?
And what we were talking about, the way we wanted it set up, right? These two properties weren't quite feasible. So properties pop up around here left and right.
Yeah.
We got a little time before we figure down because we want to make sure it's the right one that's got the timber, the open field, you know, decent house on it.
Yeah.
One of them was real nice, but it didn't have no house. It was about 62 acres.
We're looking for 60 plus acres.
Yeah.
So that'd be about it.
Hold up, and why don't I know about this?
Well, me and Mr. Carl got to talking. I've had a long time dream I've been wanting to do, and it's Carl actually came up with a name for it, called it Second Amendment Ranch. And what the goal is I want to move up there. I've got a 15-month lease, so it gives us about 15 and a half months to get everything going and set. My intention is to set up a gun range that can be utilized by everybody, and then off to the side, I'm going to have a breach house that you can practice breaching houses or having home intruders come in, and you can see how you want to handle having somebody break into your house. There's also going to be breaching shacks for that area, so the police force can actually practice like raiding meth labs out in the middle of the woods, because Mr. Carl was saying that's a huge problem y'all have up there.
Yep.
But I want to be able to change the scenarios and give them more training than they're used to, because typically with a breach house, you're limited to one scenario every time. You know, the house is always the same. You go in, you take out the bad guys, you go on about your day. I want to set it up to where we can use live rounds as well as paint. Excuse me. Paint, so that way we can have an opposing force that goes against the police force, or if people get interested enough, you can go against other people, and it allows you to train and practice some combat. There's going to be scenarios for hunters. There's going to be scenarios for, you know, wives, and then on the side of this plan, or on the side of the property, I plan on putting an apple orchard.
Yeah, Justin wanted to know, and exclusively allowing Warrior Outdoors for events, so we can bring veterans out. Yeah, that's what we talked about 100%. Last night. Somebody should have been on our show last night. It was up until 3:00 in the morning talking about this.
Depending on the property, we plan on having an area where you can camp out, set up tents and everything. You know, Warrior Fest, we can have people crash in tents on the house, wherever. Maybe putting a barn up, so that way we can have a venue be inside. We can still have the comedians, get speakers set up and everything. Other veterans can get involved when we get the Kickstarter going by helping promote that. Eventually, depending on how big this gets, I am going to need to hire people, and I plan on keeping the control portion entirely in the family, so that way I want to hire nothing but veterans.
Correct. And talking about the range and everything, you know, you was talking about, we will have the largest range with 1,000-yard target on the property.
And we're going to host events. Carl wants to set up a crossbow range, and we're planning on having bow events where we have moving targets. We have long distance targets for bows. We plan on setting up sniper events. We also plan on having the police forces be able to compete against each other for a trophy. No, you're not coming up right now.
Mike Jordan. I've been trying to do the same thing in Kansas. I'm a firearm instructor, former LE and military. If you're trying, what has stopped you? We'd like to know in case we run into a problem.
Yeah, we really need to know that. But other veterans, you know, this is going to be costly, to say the least. We're going to have a lot of safety features. We're going to need to put up a lot of cameras. It's going to be a big project. Yes, a lot of
the money. Conversation last night got real in depth on everything. We figured up when we were done 14 different ways to use the property.
I think more than that.
Yeah.
Because we had camping, the apple orchard, we had the sniper, each different range. We had the shop where we plan on selling merchandise. We plan on selling barbecue sauce from Hot Boxing Matt's provider. We plan on making our own jerky and summer sausages, fish bait.
Jellies and jams and all that. Apple trees, pear trees down the line.
The breaching areas, different courses and classes you can take, hunter safety courses you can take in person, which would be for guns and bows at this point in time.
Right. One of the big things we discussed last night was the breaching areas, right?
Yeah, very much.
We're designing the buildings or shacks that they'll be breaching. and inside can be changed around with movable walls and different scenarios. Even the house, if we set it up right, could be turned at different angles.
That way, every time we have somebody come out, the scenarios they've ran are all different.
Yeah.
Every time they come out, they can be different. We also don't plan on limiting it to, oh, it's a sunny day. I want to be able to set it up. Hey, it's raining. It's snowing. It's 100 degrees out. Y'all need to get here today. We're doing a course.
Full gear. And they'll be doing it paintballs. We may have, if we can find the right property and set it up right, even one with a live round building.
Mm-hmm. And there are different paintball guns that can reach out to about 300 yards. We plan up setting up sniper scenarios where they have to go against it. We're going to try and get them used to, for some of the smaller police departments, we intend on letting them use some drones, seeing how they like it. But we 5 hours, little over 5 hours, like 5.5 hours last night, we came up with dozens of different ways to move the house. We plan on being able to move the rooms, setting up different shacks. We even plan on having a control room where we can watch and listen to everybody. And how much is simunition? That's one thing I need to know. But
he's got some good ideas on shoot houses and how the rooms can be moved around for different houses every time. So
but that's something
Mike's going to have to get on the show with us one of these times and talk and see.
But we plan, there's going to be a lot of content. There's there's going to be spoofs from when they're doing the breach houses we're planning on showing. We also plan on letting everybody in the network come out and actually paint our control room, because we're planning on just getting one for the control room. We were planning on getting 8 foot by 40 foot steel container and modifying it for a control room and putting in a safe room, so that way the people that are doing the breaching houses and everything can put their gear up and locked it up
for the evening if they camp out, because there's going to be a camp out area for the people that pay to come there instead of going to a motel room. If they want to camp out, they can do that. This way it'll all be locked up in an armory, safe. We talked about different ways of doing it. I mean, yeah, we got into a real in-depth conversation for 5 hours last night with this, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. The biggest problem was getting the certificates and the property.
Yeah.
And I didn't think simunition would be cheap.
Right. And like I said, I found that one piece of property today, 62 acres, didn't have a house on it, was one issue, but big, open, gigantic field directly behind. I mean, it was awesome. It was like a rectangle-shaped piece of property. And the next property over was a field, so there was no house in it on either side. Yeah, small cabins, if the money would come in and everything, yeah, we could build little cabins and put bunk beds or whatever in them.
Yep. We plan on building a good portion of this ourselves.
Yeah.
Which is one reason Mr. Carl actually brought up the steel containers. It would be the most cost-efficient way to do everything.
Faster.
And faster, because, again, we do plan on having a shop with an actual classroom, because I intend on running this how I would imagine a gun range should be ran. There's going to be a training course for my gun range. There's going to be rules posted. The property is going to be marked out. There's going to be different courses you can take. If you're just here for the gun range, you need a gun range safety course, everything like that. But as you progress, you can use more and more of the property to do different aspects there. Because originally it's going to be kind of limited to the police and first responders, because there are simulators for gunshot wounds and stab wounds and stuff like that. And I do want to create competitions for that. But I also want to open it up to the public, because, again, when you get a gun, well, actually, Justin, I do have a construction background. Ta-da! But I do want to open everything up to the public eventually, but that's why there are courses that you're going to be required to be able to move on to the different areas. And I want to be able to train people, because one of the biggest problems I've found is people get a new gun for their own safety, for their home, and they don't practice with it. They don't shoot it, nothing. And those that do shoot it, that's all they really do. They take it out to the gun range, they put a few rounds down range and call it good. I want to create a scenario where you're asleep, where you're watching TV on the couch, and we're gonna get furniture, and we're gonna furnish our little breach house and cover the furniture with plastic tarps and make sure they're safe and clean to sit on. But we're gonna have somebody or somebody's break into your home, and you've got to figure out what you're going to do. We also want to, as we progress, get volunteers from the police department to come out, give tips on what to do, how to handle it, and actually respond to a phone call and see how these people did within a 4-minute time frame, because that's a little above the fastest response time you'll get from a police officer, at least in Texas. I think the fastest response time I've seen in Texas was 3 minutes, 46 seconds. And that was with somebody in the vicinity. So I want to be able to train people to handle themselves, know how to use the firearms, and be able to defend their property in an effective manner either until the attacking force is subdued or police can respond. But it's also going to be, the guns, we're going to put the gun in the house somewhere. We're going to tell them where it's at, of course. But, the gun's not always going to be on you. Unless you're like me, where I can put a gun in every room in my house. You've got to, the gun might be with you in the living room. If you've got kids, it might be in a safe. If you're watching TV, it could be in the bedroom. It could be, you could go to the bathroom when they break in. Different scenarios like that. We plan on putting up plastic tarps to where they have to break into windows, cut a plastic, go in. We're going to set a speaker up where it sounds like glass is breaking. Did you hear it? Did the police or the opposing forces hear the glass break and everything like that? So you have to take precautions to limit the amount of noise you make handling these, to try and listen, to recognize sounds that would indicate you need to be prepared to defend yourself.
Right. Yeah. Mike Jordan, what part of Kansas are you in? He's posting a lot in the chat room and everything. He does quite a bit.
Yes, he does. Mike, I'm going to need you to personally message me because you're going to be who I need to talk to about a lot of these certificates I'm going to need. And honestly, I might hire you.
Are you a veteran?
Yeah. I think he said he was, wasn't he?
I think so, back up there. Central, near Hutchinson. Yeah, I know where Hutchinson's at and everything. Where I'm located, Cameron right now is in Houston, Texas. But I'm located in Missouri, about 30 miles east of St. Joseph.
He's a vet. Good.
He's a vet. Awesome.
But no, we've got about 15 and a half months. And originally, when I thought of this, I thought it was just going to be a dream. I thought that because every time I brought it up to somebody, oh, you're dreaming. This isn't possible. It's not feasible. Talking with Mr. Carl last night, we put a plan together. It's something I've never been able to do with this. It was amazing to actually get a process going of what we need to do, how we need to set it up, because again, I do want to move closer to the network. A lot of you guys are my family, and I want to be able to spend some time with you. I hate traveling. I hate flying up there for Warrior Fest, but I do want to educate people, and that's why Mr. Carl brought the idea of creating a Second Amendment show to me, because I do like guns that much. Mike Jordan, I'm Cameron Bates. Bates as in the boot brand, Bates as in Norman Bates, Bates as in Bates Motel. That Bates. But yeah, I'm gonna need you to contact. I'm gonna need to get a hold of you. I'm gonna write your name down so I can remember to actually hit you up after the show. Because me and Mr. Carl are both going to need to get certificates for training courses,
Right.
Because we want to create it to where we have the police force come out and they are absolutely comfortable, because we imagine they're going to want a contract. But we can show we're educated, trained, we have the knowledge, the ability, and capability to give you the education you need, as well as the safety and security for your equipment while you're on our property.
Right. And as Justin, he's in chat room and stuff, knows a lot about our area up here. A lot of our sheriff's departments, police departments don't have places to go train in those situations. You know, a lot of them aren't going to be in the small town and go to the house. A lot of them is going to be out in the country, a country setting, country house, meth labs around here. Some of them are in towns, but majority of them are out in the country.
So we had we had 5 hours this morning of talking, planning, getting ideas, thinking of the property layouts, thinking of different scenarios we can set up, you know, setting up towers for snipers, setting up cabins to breach, setting up a cabin on a pond so you have limited access. Excuse me.
Setting up different video cameras that a lot of the druggies would use out in the timber.
Exactly.
Modern, even trip wires with cans and stuff like the old timers used, which a lot of them still use nowadays. You know, it's a warning system.
Exactly. But again, my biggest problem in at least in Texas, I don't know how every other state is, but in Texas, I've looked up some of these courses and classes because I've been interested in taking them. You know, you see Keanu Reeves going out to a gun range and he's got a whole bunch of different targets and he has to move through these targets and take down specific ones with hostages and active shooters and stuff like that. But those are limited to, in Texas at least, to the law enforcement or active duty military. So I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, active shooters at truck stops. And around our area, we've got several truck stops that are packed.
We plan on getting at least a couple of pieces of equipment to utilize, i.e. tractors, trailers, and old cars. You know, hey, it doesn't run. Cool, here's $200 because it's going to go sit in a field, and that's it. But we do plan on setting up basically every scenario you could run into as a civilian or even police officers. You know, you've got an active shooter here. You've got an active shooter here. You know, you've got a hunter gone rogue. He took out a Fish and Wildlife ranger, different things like that. And, yes, it's going to cost a good amount of money, but I think it's going to be beneficial across the board.
Right. And you're going to be running courses on teaching people how to use weapons and advanced training and system on the firing range.
Yep. And again, we will have many different competitions. We're going to have at least 2 different sniper competitions, 2 different bow competitions. We're going to have a plethora of breach competitions. And those competitions are really what's going to get us a lot of attention, a lot of publicity. And that's why I do want to have everybody that I can in the network come out, because we're going to have the shop be out of these 8 by 40 foot portable trailers. We're going to cut them, weld them, and set up an actual shop where we can sell merchandise, different products from other people that support our community. And yes, Mike, you're right. The initial capital will be
substantial,
to say the least.
That's what we're working on.
We do want everybody to come out. We're going to put the Second Amendment Ranch on the house. We're going to put the Second Amendment Ranch on the control center, Second Amendment Ranch on the shop, and we're going to let the network come out and paint their own logo on the property. They can come and design their own everything, and they can put it on our buildings, the shop and the control center, and that way when people come out, they can look at it and go, I wonder what that is, and look it up.
Yeah, and also put all the shows will be on the side of the trailer too that we have on the network.
So
the network's going to be involved in one way or another through this.
Very much so. We plan on whoring y'all out like a bunch of $2 whores.
Right. You know. But yeah, it's going. The ideas we've got to find the right piece of land that we're looking for. Like Mike said, that's not a problem in Kansas. Kansas is pretty damn flat.
But we are going to need a property with a lot of trees on the back end,
or on the side.
Or on the side. Hopefully a pond. If not, we can dig one ourselves. And then, after that, we're just going to start. Once we get everything set up, we're just going to start building.
Right. And like we said, the firing range and stuff like that, the Second Amendment, so everybody knows we have the right to bear arms, and they better know how to use them.
And we're going to do shows throughout the entire week. Broken Rock forges knives. Sure, we'll have a space for them if they need it. Yeah,
that's what Justin's making now, is Broken Rock forged knives. Yeah, he's doing forging and stuff.
Yeah, we can get something set up for you as well, because I do want to try and make this as hospitable to the veteran community and WoW Entertainment as possible. If you need a place to stay, if you need to advertise, because the long-term goal is going to be I'm going to have to come up there, get a job, work for a while, and get this worked on during the weekends. But the long-term goal is, oh God,
we'll be building it piece by piece by piece down through there. First thing up is the range.
Yeah. But after that, we are planning on, where was I going? We want it to be as beneficial to the network as possible. The long-term goal being quitting the jobs and putting out content every single day.
Yeah, all the shows, everything.
We plan on getting Hotbox and Matt to come out and doing cooking during events, and eventually maybe setting up another restaurant. That way on weekends he can come over and cook for the families. We're planning on having family weekends during the years, so he can come out, cook, teach classes, recommend his barbecue sauce, different things like that.
He has access to Second Amendment companies and attorneys to set up seminars. Now that'd be interesting.
But again, we're gonna allow, if we can get it set up, we'll allow you to use tannerite. We'll let you use pumpkins, pineapples, watermelons. You can shoot whatever you want. I want to have it as limited, or I don't want to limit it as much as most gun ranges are. I want it to be entertaining for everybody, and I want to. Now, this is not going to be something where I can help polish up your gun skills.
Mm-mm.
This is not something where I'm going to come in, okay, you need to do this, tweak this, and you'll get, a baseball-sized grouping. This is to get you comfortable and educated. And we actually had a guy from Twitch come in last night for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Asking us about guns, what we recommended, what kind of loadouts he should use.
Yeah, he wanted a shotgun for his first gun and everything for home protection. That's what we started.
Yeah, we started talking and trying to educate him on the best way to defend your property, yourselves, what you should expect, what you should do. I don't want to teach you how to make a better grouping. I want to teach you to be comfortable with the firearm you have and put you in different scenarios. So when that if that scenario comes up, you know exactly how to handle yourself.
Right.
And
off the subject a second. Did you see the RV explosion in Nashville?
I did not.
Yeah, that happened this morning. Man, it's story around it. It came in at like 2:30 in the morning and parked in downtown Nashville, and the police got a call about shots fired
Well,
down
that's
there.
still technically on the Second Amendment because
It is.
we were planning on setting up scenarios of a mathletic possibly exploding. You know, you've got to.
Well, this here that this gets into that, right? This was set up and planned by somebody because the cops were down there. People were walking around, and all of a sudden, a pre recorded voice inside the bus said, "You have 15 minutes to depart before this detonates." And it detonated.
Yeah, that goes along with one of the scenarios we're planning
Yeah, it was a robo voice, is what they said
because
on
we were
there.
planning on setting up one of the shacks, having a smoke bomb go off after X amount of time, or if somebody shot the lab, or if it came close to shooting the lab, something would cause it to explode, and that scenario would be failed because you let the lab explode.
And then we have the situations with some of our people inside the building with paintball guns, and there'll be video cameras all over around in the trees watching. And if one of the officers or something like that would get hit with a paintball, we determine if they can move on, if they've got to call for help, just all kinds of different scenarios.
Yeah. And we plan, one of the biggest problems I've seen in paintball or airsoft is a lot of the people, it's a trust thing.
Right.
You got hit, you have to go down, but a lot of people wipe it off and go on about their day. So we're trying to set up hidden cameras that we can hold accountability, but we do want to set up hunter cameras set up on property so the police have to, and we're going to make them like a quick connect where you can pull it off, take it down, move it, and then set it back up. So that way the whoever is trying to breach, be it police or somebody else, they have to look. They're not just limited to what's in front of them. They got to look up, around, because there's tree stands. You can climb trees pretty easily. It takes that mindset of focus on what's on the target, focus on what's around you. Oh yes, we will be having a full. When I say a full command center, I mean a full command center. We're planning on getting a 8-foot by 40-foot trailer, cutting it out so we can put a TV up to show the commander or captain of the police what's going on with his guys. But we're also going to have cameras and monitors inside this shack showing me and Mr. Carl and whoever's there on our team what's going on, what they're doing, how they're handling it. Did he get shot? Are they handling this safely? Are they keeping their protective gear on? Did he go down? Did he manage to get the medical? Did he? No.
Yeah, and it'll also involve EMTs and different things, different scenarios at different times.
This, how we had it set up, this would involve police, EMTs, and wildlife rangers. The only scenarios we really couldn't set up for people were firefighters because we don't want to catch shit on fire.
Right. No. Don't want to do that. No. That hits the pocketbook too bad.
Yeah. But we also calculated out while we clear these areas, we're going to try and utilize most of what we cut down. We're not going to try and just throw away a bunch of trees and go get plywood and everything. We're going to try and build as much of this as we can. But we're also going to set up like a burn pit, so when you go camping, you can have a bonfire. If there is a pond after this time, you can go fishing because it's safe. But we're also going to go into, again, the scenarios where you've got to breach a house that's on a pond. How are you going to approach this?
Right. Because we got a lot of places out here in the country. We live in a rural community. Like I said, the town I live in has about 1,800 people. So the sheriff's department covers a big area in this complete area. And a lot of it is in rural America.
So it's now we did plan on setting up different course classes, i.e. being beginner, intermediate, advanced, and expert. Now, the beginner course is really just for the people that have never shot before. We're going to get them on the gun range, get them comfortable with shooting. When you get into the intermediate and up, you have to pass. In order to move up, you have to pass the first class. If you're a competent shooter and you think you can pass this course, I'm not going to try and steal your money. I have no intention of doing that. I am going to tell you, if you don't think you can pass this course, take the first one, because you will not get a refund.
Right.
I have to give you my time. We have to give you training and everything like that. If you don't think you can pass this one, let's just do the first one. But in order to move on to the intermediate, advanced, and expert courses, you have to take these classes and you have to pass the previous scenarios. The house breaching might be the intermediate or advanced. And if you can't breach the house effectively, we're not going to let you go to the advanced or expert courses. Exactly.
Yeah.
That originally, Dad, we were talking for the breaching houses about $200 a person. And if the police have to book the breaching courses, it's going to be $1,000 down payment, because we will, depending on the property, have to shut down our gun range for safety purposes. Now it'll only be shut down for a few hours, hopefully, but it gives you the ability to go the whole day, and we still get paid a deposit for having to shut down part of our range.
There's your first client, your dad.
Exactly.
I need beginner training.
As far as the gun range goes, we're planning on just doing a $50 flat rate for each range, because the biggest problem I've seen, I know that sounds a little pricey, but let me explain why it's that. A lot of gun ranges charge per gun, and normally I see about a $20 fee per gun. I've only ever found one that's $10 per gun. If you've got 4 pistols you want to shoot and you're using the pistol range, it's $50. That's it.
Right.
If you've got 4 pistols you want to shoot, right there. If you've got 4 rifles you want to shoot, that's $50. That's right there. Each one. Now, with the sniper range, which is going to be 300 yards out to 1,000 yards, that's going to be $100. That's a little more pricey, yes, but you're trying to use a range to hit 1,000 yards.
You got a bigger gun.
You've got something that can reach out and touch 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
So you can clearly afford it.
And all the shooting aisles right there will have video cameras above them, so we can film and watch. And if we have a problem, I can radio somebody to go check it out.
Exactly. We're not going to let you just sit there with a stovepipe and have you try and figure it out. We'll come out. We'll teach you, hey, you've got a stovepipe. You've got a misfeed, double feed, whatever. This is what you need to do. Here's how you need to handle it. Be safe, be smart, be cautious. And then we honestly might try and redo that scenario. We might try and replay that scenario for you. So just because you paid $50 for the range, you'll get some education out of it if you need it. Now, Mike, I agree. We do need a range safety officer, which is why we will have radios, especially at first, because I don't know how many people I'm going to have to start with. As it stands, I know it's going to be me and Mr. Carl building this whole facility.
Right.
Once we get going, once it gets popular, again, I do intend on hiring nothing but veterans. I think it was Aaron last night. He was planning on moving over, and we're going to get him set up on the property. And he can, and if you plan on moving, and I've still got a guest room, okay, come on, move over. Take a room for a little bit. Find you a house. Find you
trailer or something,
Yeah, find what you need to find, and then we can go from there. If you want to come and move and help out, I've got no problems housing you at all. If you want to come and help my dream, let's do it. So I'm not going to let you just move and try and figure everything out as you go. You can come, but while you live, I'm not going to charge you rent. You're going to chip in for food, but you're going to have to work. You need to be a range safety officer. You need to do this, whatever I need you to do. And then once you find your property, then, hey, you've got your house. Now you've got a job and we'll pay you for it.
Right.
Dad, I'm planning on moving to Missouri.
We're looking for property up here right now.
He didn't know I was planning on moving, by the way.
Uh-oh. Spoiler alert.
Yep.
Justin wants to know what his starting pay is.
It depends on what you're gonna do, and how much we can start. Because again, when we start, I'm not going to be able to afford to hire a bunch of people, which is why I'm going to try. We need to get the shop basically set up almost immediately. We're going to get a couple of cheap crossbows that you can rent out. We're trying to get some merchandise, the jellies, jams, barbecue sauces that what's her name, Mr. Carl? The one that makes them for Matt?
Denise. Or no, not, or for Matt. Oh, I can't think of her name right offhand. He was on her show.
Yeah.
But the jellies and jams are be made by Denise Pridemore.
Yeah. If you want to sell if you're a part of our network and you need something to sell, we'll put it up in the shop.
Right. Richie makes all that wood furniture.
Exactly. Free of charge. We'll put it up in the shop. All we're going to ask is we get a small percentage of what you sell.
Right.
I know you went to college in Missouri. I remember.
Which college did you go to?
But no, Mike, it's not going to start off at $100,000 a year. We're going to have to put the money back into the property. We're going to have to put money into building. If we need to set up shops for people to work on the property and get everything set up, we can do that.
That's why I'm still working. He'll be working and everything once we get this thing started off and go from here.
Once we get the property and I actually get able to move up there, I'm going to have to find a job and start working immediately and start putting money towards getting
Baptist Bible College in Springfield. I know exactly where it's at.
So, but you have to realize this will be our jobs eventually. Because if I can get this going, I can quit. Now we're planning on taking at first when we start, we're going to have to run every day. But once we get it going and rolling and everything's set up and we've got contracts or we've got a set group that's wanting to come out often, we can shut down for a week, take a little vacation, and then we'll run. We planned on running Tuesdays through Sundays because Saturday and Sunday are going to be our busiest days ever for the gun range.
Yeah.
So we need to leave those open for people to utilize.
And Justin knows, he's from the area up here and everything. He knows the gun range we got up here at Gallatin at the conservation place out there. It's a pain in the ass to try to get up there to zero your rifle in before deer season. I mean, it's just loaded with idiots. And then, of course, the idiots show up opening morning of deer season in the middle of the conservation place at the firing range and start shooting guns. So every deer up there is running 90 miles an hour.
And that's why we planned on requiring everybody take basic courses.
Right. Basic course to be allowed out on the course.
If you want to come and shoot here, you need to prove to us you're a competent shooter. Now, with that, of course, there is the beginning course where we will make you become a competent shooter.
Right.
So we don't need a bunch of jackasses out there breaking blue left and right, risking shooting somebody else, something like that. So there will be.
Yeah, Richie, deer season tomorrow. It starts up again and everything for alternative up here.
So we have 15 and a half months. Mr. Carl's going to look at getting the Kickstarter going once we have everything planned out. But I need to get what certificates, and Mike, that's why I need you to kind of contact me, is we need to figure out what certificates we're going to need to do this. Now, I do have a fairly extensive training in firearms safety with the military, but that's not going to be that'll be enough to make people confident I can train them. But the certificates are what I'm going to need to be able to provide a certificate saying you've taken our courses and passed and you can do this accurately.
Right. And in that 15-month period of time, it gives you time to have your surgery on your back, get that all taken care of. everything. So
Exactly.
yeah. But the regular show that we'll do on the Second Amendment Ranch and everything is we'll be talking, looking up a lot of stuff about to let people know their Second Amendment right. You know,
No. What laws per state you have?
yeah, we'll pick a
What
state every week and go through the laws and everything.
we'll take you out to the range, show you some shootings, show you some safeties, show you the rules for our range. But again, with all of this, we're still going to run our normal show, It's 1700 show, the Second Amendment show, and what else were we planning on? Oh yeah, doing the footage from the breaching, and we're going to show you the spoof footage.
Yeah, there's going to be some good. They've got to all sign waivers. They've all got to give us permission for the video and stuff. And yeah, there ought to be some real good bloopers. That can make a show right there.
Exactly. And Aaron, it's not so much of being a successful run each scenario. I do not plan on making this a easily passed course.
No.
The advanced and expert courses, I plan on failing almost everybody initially when we start, because those courses are going to be some of the more you're going to be going against an opposing force that has some training, some knowledge of the area, has safety. They've got cameras. They've got alarms that can sound. These are going to be scenarios where it might not be a pass or fail if you trip an alarm, but how did you handle it after that alarm? Did you call for backup? Was backup already there? Did you go in as a team? Did you scout the area effectively? It's the advanced and expert scenarios are going to be hell, to put it simply. It's not meant to be, oh, we went out, we breached a house, it was fun, cool, let's go home. No, it's meant to piss you off.
Well, it's to make them better, because we plan on eventually, if we get several of the sheriff's departments and different things like that, we're going to have a tournament for them. Team, sheriff's department against sheriff's department.
Yeah, we're going to run you against an equally trained team, and you've got to figure out if you can beat them.
Right.
And that's why we're going to have trophies made for all the different competitions. And depending on how we run them, we might charge, if it's normally $200, we might charge $300, and we'll take $25 out of that, put it into a pot, and, you get a trophy and the pot for the week. And then for those days, we plan on taking, half of it, if we can afford it, and putting it towards a foundation, a charity for veterans, and benefit the veteran community more that way.
Right. Yeah, it's quite the deal. We discussed quite a bit about it last night, come up with different ideas throughout the whole talk that we did last night on Christmas Eve. And we decided to come back on here tonight and discuss it a little bit more and see what everybody in the chat room was thinking about it, and just go from there. But like I said, I'll get started on the Kickstarter, write a short deal up, send it to them, and we'll go from there.
Because, and going back to the courses, the beginner course is not going to be a pass or fail. It's going to be a basic training, shooting, handling firearms. The intermediate course could be breaching the house, or being you're in the house and you have to defend your home. That could be that one's going to be a pass or fail as well. How would you handle it? And it's not, the pass or fail is going to be more along the lines of police forces. When it comes to the civilian side, because again, I don't want to limit this to anybody. I want everybody to be able to come out to my gun range and take whatever course they want to take, so long as they pass everything else. But for the civilian side, it's going to be, okay, if you want to know you failed, but here's why. We're going to go, and we're going to discuss everything with everybody. Police, civilian, veterans, you name it. Here's how you did. This is what we recommend. If you want to run it again, come back, and we can set you back up for another course. Oh, very much so. Very much so. But it's not going to be a pass-fail if it's a group, we might do a pass fail for the group, have the group handle everything, but it's going to be more individually pass fail.
Right. And then for the sheriff's department stuff, their commander will be back watching them on an outside screen made through the container that'll have the control center in it, watching so they can see. And then when it's all said and done, we'll have the footage, go through it, and get them back in there in 3 or 4 days and present it to them and tell them what we saw, what we thought, and then go from there. The commander may see more, may not like it,
Yeah. And that's why we imagine they'll probably make us get contracts with them. But it's the full purpose of the entirety of the Second Amendment Ranch will be education and training for everyone to be able to handle whatever scenarios they think they might come into and be able to walk away from that scenario safely.
Right.
So if you're a huge hunter up there, you could take the home defense course, and once you pass that, we can put you on an advanced course, and you can handle yourself as we're going to let you walk around the property with a paintball gun. We're going to we might have another hunter that's snapped and start coming after you.
Or be, up here in this area, everybody's big deer hunters and everything. You're out in tree stands, open tree stands, blinds, everything like that. What's to say a hunter goes out that morning, sitting in his stand, something happens, and he triggers off? What are you going to do?
Exactly.
What's a game warden going to do when he has to walk into a situation like that?
No, it's just because you won doesn't mean you passed.
Right.
Just because you successfully completed the course individually or as a team does not mean you passed. Did you set off alarms? Did you handle it safely? Did you keep your guns pointed in the directions you needed to? Were you looking every way you needed to look? Were you taking the safest paths? Did you really scout your area before you started pushing? No, you might have subdued everybody, but was the hostage? We do plan on running hostage scenarios. Did you successfully rescue the hostage?
Yeah. Hostage situations, code 100 situations where somebody's inside and by themselves and snap. How do you handle the situation? How do you handle it out in the country setting?
And there will be, we will set up, if I'm going to need a tractor to mow the property, obviously, but we're going to set up scenarios like you've got no cover. Everything is provided. You've provided here for you to operate safely. Did they utilize the tractor that was there? Did they pull it in front so they have actual cover? Did they scout the area appropriately? Did they use every piece of equipment necessary to make safe assessments to start progressing in?
How to walk in through the timber, not sounding like a bull in a china shop.
Yeah. We need a depend. We need a dependent. Just lost her ass in the divorce and won't be getting any more BAH TRICARE scenario. And yes, if you request scenarios, we can set it up for you.
Yeah, if somebody comes to us with a scenario, we can get together and decide and maybe set something up.
That's why we want to be able to move every single aspect with the breach house. We want to be able to move and control every single aspect. So we can, one, change it up for you so you can get comfortable. But two, we can try and set it up to simulate your house.
Right.
We want to be all right. So this is your bathroom. This is your bedroom. It's only going to be a one-story scenario, but
right.
How
most people are going to be downstairs.
Exactly. So if you've got a dependent problem, We can line up the walls to match your house. You came home. Your wife's got the gun.
Yeah.
Or ex-wife's got the gun.
It'll have movable walls inside.
And movable windows.
Yeah. Yeah, we come up with an idea on how to move the windows. Shift them around.
So we have every intention of putting you in whatever scenario you want, as well as what we want. Well, I do have some experience, Mike. I do not have actual training as far as instructor courses go, but I do run a lot of, I do sweep my own home, and I do not mean with a broom. I think of way more scenarios than I should, and I do pay attention to politics and the news and see what's going on. Active shooters, school shootings, things like that. And honestly, if schools, I know Florida was putting in armed security on their properties in one of their schools years ago. We covered that on a show on it, 1700 somewhere. But we covered an article about that, and we plan on setting up scenarios. If you think you're going to run into an active shooter at a school, we can try and simulate an active shooter in a school.
Yeah.
When I say I don't want this limited, I mean I don't want this limited. If you need this scenario, because we plan on making the house platform, we're gonna concrete the bottom and everything with reject lime, so it's a solid base, and we can pivot the house. But if we need to add more areas, we can add more areas for you. You might not be able to take this course for a month, but we'll have this scenario set up for you. Come out. Let's go.
Yeah, he's trained many teachers and churches on active shooter scenarios. That's great.
Exactly. And
this needs to be a lot more of that type of training. And
this would allow an affordable means to train everybody. If teachers get permission to carry at schools, okay, come out. We're going to set you up a classroom. We're going to try and simulate your hallways and everything like that. How are you going to defend your class? Are you going to push, or are you going to stay at location and try and defend your class in the room? How are you going to handle this shooter?
Yeah, because that's happening every day somewhere.
Exactly. And we will let this open up to, somebody broke into your home and your family's there.
Right.
That's one of the bigger things that you won't find anywhere is, one, the 1,000-yard range is really hard to find. Two, having a breach facility for civilian side is very difficult to find. Three, having a breach facility where you can involve your family to see how they're going to handle it. Everything, how you're going to handle defending your family.
Well, it's just like that situation in Nashville. There was a guy walking his dog early in the morning. When he heard the so-called gunshots and heard the robo voice say this vehicle will detonate in 15 minutes, he's standing there looking around, sees cops, and everything. Just standing there with his dog. Me, I'm going to be hauling ass.
And again, we can make that scenario happen.
Yeah. That today played into a whole different new ball game in what's going on in our country. Now we got to look at RVs.
Yep. And if we can get a cheap beat up RV for a couple $100, you can bet we'll set one up on the property.
Yeah. Because it's like the police said, the RV was kind of out of place because it was sitting in downtown Nashville and everything. But everybody sees RVs parked here, there, everywhere. How do you know what's going on in them?
Exactly. We'll set one up. We'll be able to drag it around the property and everything. Doesn't have to be fancy, but how are you going to handle it? And if you live in an RV, we can set it up where you're defending your property in an RV.
Right. Because, well, you look at all the people that's traveling in RVs. They're at truck stops, they're at rest areas, they're at the KOAs, everything. Who's to say some idiot isn't going to do something? You know, a lot of the weird stuff that happens in the world today, you can also put back on the movies.
Yeah, and
They give so many ideas for people to do.
we will pull scenarios from actual media and news of what's going on and put you in that scenario and see how you handle it. Did you handle it like the police did there? Did you handle it in another manner? Did you do it more successfully, more quickly?
Yeah.
What happens?
The police there was 4 of them and everything. One of them got blown off his feet. So that's how close he was to it.
Exactly.
I'll see if I can. You keep talking. I'm going to see if I can pull that up and share it on the screen.
Did you call in bomb squad? And given any information we can try and simulate bomb squad scenarios. You know, we'll set up a briefcase or a mail package, what have you. We'll have their bomb squads come out and come and deal with it. If you're a civilian, you know, if you're going to go breach this house because you want to breach this house, we might throw a bomb into the scenario for you. We can do whatever we want to do and put you in different scenarios that might be a little out of the world for some people, but for others, I might actually run across this shit, so I want to train on this. Because one of the biggest problems I have, don't get me wrong, I support the police. I support the good police. There are some corrupt ones out there. But I think I hear so many videos of police saying, oh, I fear for my life every day. The goal for them is remove that fear. Because when you're afraid, you make mistakes. You've got to be calm. You need to keep a level head. How'd you handle this scenario? And we're going to let them, again, we're not going to limit it to, oh, we're going to make you go out as a team. You might have to respond to this scenario alone. And you've got to determine what you can do. Do you need to call in backup? Is backup available? Can you handle this alone? If you can handle this alone, how did you handle this alone?
Okay, here's what it looked like after the explosion. There they're looking. They thought they may have found some remains in it. Busted all the windows in that building. I mean, this is right in downtown Nashville. There's what picture of the smoke from when it blew up. Cars burning.
Oh, yes. We will have waivers for everything. Everything.
Yeah, there'll be a waiver. Yeah, that was bad. That popped up on my Facebook earlier this morning.
Even just using the gun range, there's going to be a waiver. To come on the property, you're going to have a waiver to sign. He was talking about an LLC last night, limited liability clause corporation. And we plan on getting that set up as well. And we do intend on making it, you know, if we're planning on between the gun ranges, we're going to put an actual divider between the whole area, wall it off so you can't go in unless you've paid for that area. And in order to get to the breaching areas, we're going to create certificate cards saying, and they're all going to be different, so it's going to be extremely difficult to replicate for an advanced course. But in order to move on to the next courses, you have to show that you have passed previous coursing.
And we'll have it on record.
Mm-hmm. That way we don't have somebody coming out saying, oh, I can do this, and they can't do that, and getting hurt. We also plan on sweeping the property, making sure there's no real hazards with sharp tree limbs that have fallen, snakes, aggressive wildlife, anything like that. But with the property, we're planning on setting it up for everybody to utilize. the apple orchard. Mom or dad could go out shooting for the day, take the kids, train them how to use his guns. Mom can go get apples for the apple pie when they get home. No, we're going to have an area where you can grill. You can rent our grills for the day, and you can cook out. You can have a little event, do what you need to do, and be able to relax. So it's kind of it's more of a. That's why we wanted to call it. Originally, we were going to call it the Second Amendment Range, but it's not so much of a gun range as it is a full
ranch or farm.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be doing row crop, so we decided to go with the ranch name.
But there are going to be,
And then, like I said, and then we'll have the crossbow range and everything, because crossbows are getting to be a real big thing up here and stuff, and have competitions and different things on that course.
Originally, though, for some of these competitions, the bow range is going to be open to everybody. For the competition, but some of the shooting ranges and the breaching ranges, we're going to set the competition up originally for the police.
Right.
But on that, after that first year is done, whoever wins, they're going to have to defend that trophy, which means they have to come back the next year.
Right.
And we're going to open it up to everybody. If you think you can hit that 1,000-yard range better than the SWAT snipers, come on out.
And there'll be different targets at that 1,000 yards that they got to qualify up to, all the way down to an orange.
Yeah, it's not going to be just, oh, you hit the metal, good job. We also plan on, if we can get a scope sponsor, if we can get somebody to provide us some rifle scopes, we're going to take your scopes off your gun. You're going to have to use our scopes
and zero them in, and then hit the target. Right.
Fastest at first to hit the target, and that's going to be a different competition.
Yeah.
So when we say we have plenty of competitions we can set up, I mean we got a lot of shit we can do.
We could stay busy.
Now, one thing we weren't planning on doing is any kind of skeet shooting, anything like that. It takes up too much property.
There's another one of those up in the area. We'll let them have that one.
Yep. But we do plan on anything else besides skeet shooting you want to do, we should be able to provide it.
Right. A 4-inch target at 1,000 yards. That's pretty tough. Yeah.
That's why it's competition.
That's why it's competition. There are guys out here. I mean, I've got a buddy that reloads his own ammunition and everything, that he can shoot long distance, and he zeroes in. I mean, he makes his groups tight.
And we do plan on reloading ammo here at the ranch and selling ammo at the ranch. We also plan on selling crossbow bolts, regular bow bolts. We're going to have bow strings. We're going to sell as much as we can on the property as well. So that we don't have to run around and buy all this different stuff.
But we won't be selling any weapons or guns or anything.
No, we won't be selling guns. Eventually, we do plan on selling bows.
Yeah. And they'll be able to rent crossbows to target practice with, to see if they want to get into crossbow hunting or shooting or any of that. So that's a step into it.
And we will be setting up pulley systems for, most of the range is going to be metal targets. Once you're done shooting, take a can of spray paint out there, repaint it for the next shooter. But we also plan on having a pulley system set up on certain ranges where you can go out. If you want to shoot paper, you can shoot paper. And if you want to take your paper home for the day, you can still take your paper home for the day.
Right. Because up here in Missouri, we have a lot of people. It could be raining. It could be snowing. They go out and shoot. Mm-hmm. The rifle range up here at the conservation place is pretty full all the time.
And we will have it covered for shooters that want to shoot in any condition. Right. And we do plan on reaching all the breaching scenarios every day.
Yeah, all weather conditions.
It's raining, it's snowing, it's 100 degrees out. It's windy as hell. We're gonna run everything.
Yeah, it's 20 degrees out. There's 6 inches of snow on the ground. That don't stop crime. That
Nope.
don't stop the police. They've got to get where they need to get.
And if we need to, hey, we've got snow and we've got 6 inches. Come out.
Yep. That way they know how to gear up when they get there.
They know how to gear up. They know where to look for, or they should know how to look at footprints. Is it going towards the cabin? Is it going away from the cabin? Can they get through that snow quietly enough to where it doesn't alert the ones that they're going to be attacking?
Yeah, it's we went, like I said last night, we got on this discussion. I don't even know how we got on it, but
I don't either.
I don't know, but we had Nico on for a little while. He jumped out, and then we started in, and it 5 hours, 3 o'clock this morning. I was like, we got to shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a short nap I took when I got up this morning. Let me tell you. I got up there and she goes, "You want coffee?" And I said, "Just keep the cup full. We'll just keep it going." And if you folks missed it earlier today, I was up at BB's Down Home Cooking in Gallatin. They gave away free Christmas meals, turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, green beans, dressing, desserts, and everything. They did around 300 meals out of the small restaurant up there today.
But yeah, Mike, we plan on making tactics a specialty for a lot. Maybe not a specialty, but we do intend on giving tactics to those who need it or want it.
Right.
If you want to learn any kind of tactic. Now, if we could get like hand-to-hand combat at some point in time, that would be another course we could provide. I know he was talking about last night. Mr. Carl has a guy that does dog trainings.
Yep.
So we could run that out of the ranch as well.
I know 2 different canine training outfits in the area.
So.
Yeah, because there's a lot of times that, the police can show up, and a lot of times there's a dog.
I agree. Not everybody needs it, but
right.
Or not everybody wants, but everybody needs it.
Right. And like I said, your everyday family out here, nobody expects to be sitting like I'm sitting at home, Cameron's sitting at home, and somebody busts through the door right now. What do? You have no idea. Some people will be interested in it. Some people will be scared, but scared ones, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you need it more than the other guys.
Right.
If you're afraid of it, you need it. And again, we were talking about that too with the gentleman from Twitch this morning. He was talking about defending his home.
Yeah.
And saying, we were trying to give him ideas what to do, how to handle himself, and everything like that.
He wanted to know what type of ammo. He was talking about rock salt.
That's good for fucking with your buddies, but that's about it.
Yeah, you get a big enough guy and hit him with rock salt, it's going to hurt, but he's really going to be pissed.
Yeah.
But no, that was an interesting conversation there last night with that gentleman. Brought up pictures to show him what type of shotguns there, the price ranges in them, and different things like that. And he was going to get with his brother, who's a member of a gun range, and which I thought was odd. He's asking us all these questions. Why didn't he ask his brother?
But that's the purpose of this show. We're here to teach you safety.
That one is pretty with the colors, let me tell you.
We're here to teach everybody. Now, there are going to be some pay-per-view footage. I think you were talking about doing the actual course training as a pay-per-view, but the spoof will be free, covered on the Monday show.
Right. We get all the permission and everything from the groups that come out. We're going to create a website and everything, and there will be a pay-per-view. It'll be like a $4.99 or $5 admission to watch it while they're doing it, and we'll just go from there.
So if you and that'll get more people interested in, do they want to take these courses? But again, if you want to take these courses, you've got to pass the prior qualifications.
Right. And that's what it's going to be about, is starting from the bottom and working your way up. And then for the police departments, just improving their styles that they do in different scenarios.
Now, Mike and Aaron, both of you seem like you're interested in actually working for us. Now, let me tell you, the interview process is going to be a little different than what you're normally used to seeing. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because you're going to interview with both of us, but we're going to tell you, when you come out, bring a gun.
Because you're going to shoot.
What other job interview can you imagine that's going to tell you, bring a gun to your interview? Because we're going to take you out, and you're going to use your gun, your ammo. You're going to show us how you handle your firearms safely. Because on the range, while you're at work, you will carry the entire time you're at work. You will be carrying every single day. And we need to know, and I will run you. If we're interested, I will run you through that breach house.
Yeah.
But you're going to show me, with live ammo, you're going to show me you can safely and accurately handle your firearm. You can put rounds on target, not just on paper. You're going to have to hit the target in a specific grouping. You know, it might not be the size of an orange, but I want you to put it to where those rounds are going to put somebody down. So we're going to make you shoot accurately, effectively, safely, and then we're going to see how you handle. If somebody decides to say they're not leaving the property, he's got to go now. Because you're going to be, one, our instructors, and two, we're all going to have to be the safety.
Right. Mike, Mike's in the chat room there. It won't be in Texas. It'll be in Missouri.
Yeah, no, it'll be up in Missouri. I'm going to move up.
He lives in Houston now, but he'll be moving up around this area.
Yeah.
Where we'll be doing it at.
So it'll be up by Cameron, Missouri, where this actually happens.
Yeah. Up in that area somewhere around in the vicinity.
But that's going to be one of the prerequisites to actually hiring on at the company. That's fine and dandy. I need to see how you shoot. I don't care how you say you shoot. I need to see how you shoot. Because again, this is going to have some high standards. This is going to be the military all over again.
His annual qualification is 75 feet, 25 yards, 50 rounds in a 4-inch group. Yeah, we understand that you can't move. That's not an issue, but every once in a while it'd be nice. We get this going, you could come over.
Mm-hmm. Come up, especially on the event days. We're
Right.
gonna, depending on how many people we have, we might need extra security, extra range officers, what have you. We're gonna need bodies.
Yeah, because where we're going to be doing this at Hutchinson, you're probably about 2.5 hours away, if that far.
And there will be a room.
Yeah.
There will be a room. I might have a bunk bed. You might have to sleep next to Carl, but there will be a room for you to sleep in.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's going to be an adventure. We'll get the Kickstarter going.
Hopefully this week.
Yeah. Yeah. After the show, I'm going to work on it and put some information in there. Send it. See if it gets approved. Like the guy said, he puts them in, they kick them out. He redoes it and puts it back in. It goes right through.
Yeah, this is meant to be a huge, and it's not going to be, you have to come to the range to learn. Again, this is going to be training for everybody. So we will have videos on the website, on the shows, everything like that. We'll cut everything out. There's going to be a lot of content provided just from this. So.
Veteran humor. Yep. That's what WO Entertainment's all about.
He was calling you pretty enough to sleep next to.
I know. I think he was talking to you.
Well, he's not sleeping in my room. It's my house. I'm sleeping alone.
But the veteran humor, WO Entertainment, that's what our veteran network's all about. As the Redneck Pimp says, if you're laughing, you ain't crying. So
and that's why I'm going to keep it in the family. If you want to work for me, you're going to have served. Now, we might have like drink girls that come out. We might have girls that provide, if we have cooking for the day, they might bring you some food out. But other than that, you're going to have been in the military, because that camaraderie, that trust, that's something you're starting with.
And number one rule, no alcohol on the course.
None
whatsoever.
If you're camping out there, we're confiscating your property if you're drinking.
Right. If you're camping out there, that's what the armory is going to be for, where you can place your guns in. They'll be tagged. You'll be issued a tag. You have to present that to get that weapon.
We will verify everything, the vent on the side of the gun, the make, model, color, everything. And you will, if you don't have those identifiers, you better find something at home that can identify it, because it's going to cost you every day. We have to hold that gun.
Right. It'll be a $20 charge.
But we don't need people drinking and having guns nearby at all.
Right.
And we will have a waiver with a disclaimer. If you camp on the property, you knowingly consent to having your property, your firearms confiscated over the course of the time you're camping on the property. If you so lose your claim tag, you forfeit your firearm until you can provide a VIN number.
Right.
Because we don't need somebody camping out, getting too drunk, going to their car, shooting somebody up and having us be liable.
No, that ain't happening.
You signed the waiver, you're going to jail, and we're going to sue you for trying to pin this on us.
Yeah, we'll have an attorney and stuff, and
we'll have an attorney. We'll have
liability insurance,
attorneys, and waivers verified, notarized, stating that what we're doing is legal, because you're not going to camp on our property, drink, and then have access to your gun.
No. This ain't the good old boy club.
No, you're not going to get drunk and shoot into the pond and have a belligerent time. We don't need that.
Yeah. Company attorneys can save a bunch of money. That's correct. In a business like this, venture, yeah, it can save a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. But that's one of the things we want this to be as safe as possible, but as fun and educational as possible.
Well, it's like we talked about, with the camera systems we're going to have set up around there and the monitors. You might look at Control Center as Fort Knox.
We're going to fortify the shit out of that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to weld metal shut on certain areas so that there's only one access to the armory.
Right. It'll have steel doors with steel framing.
With security cameras, motion detectors, everything.
Right.
We don't need... One, we want to ensure the people that are utilizing us to feel comfortable and as safe as possible to reuse us over and over again.
That's right.
Alcohol and guns do not mix around me. I will remove you from my range at gunpoint if necessary with police on the way, but it's a complete no-go. Agreed. But
totally agree.
There are going to be times where alcohol is permitted, but every firearm out there will be. This is going to be like, oh, you're camping overnight. We've shut the range down for the day. There's no breaches going on that night. If you've brought guns out to shoot, you will have to turn them over.
Right.
You can keep your ammo, but those guns are going to become ours for the night.
Exactly.
When you want them in the morning, you come wake me up, or you come find somebody. We'll go out. We'll open up. We'll get your firearm pulled, verify everything, and turn it back over to you. And you will sign that you have received your firearm.
Right. And if you're inebriated coming on the course, you will not be allowed.
Nope.
At all. You will be escorted off the property.
Yeah, one of the biggest rules we've discussed is no political conversations on the gun range.
Right.
That causes, especially right now, that causes too much tension between people. So that's one of the huge rules we're going to set. Absolutely no political conversations. Because the last thing we need is, I don't want to limit people. If you're a Democrat and you want to bring a gun out, that's fine. I don't need to know what your political views are.
Right.
Learn how to shoot. Cool. Have a good day.
Right.
Just you're just another customer to me.
Right.
That's all I want it to be. I'm not trying, I might make friendships, but I'm not trying to build friendships.
Right. And you'll, like I said, it's going to be open to everybody. You're going to see a lot of hunters out there zeroing in their rifles at 200, 500, even 750, 1,000, whatever the ranges we come up with out there. And
all rules will be posted everywhere, bright and clear for you to see.
Oh, yeah.
When you come onto the property, there's going to be a sign. When you come in to sign your waivers, you're going to have to sign that waiver with all the rules stating you understand the requirements for this gun range.
Right.
And all of that will be discussed in a prerequisite course. Because again, if you want to use my gun course, you're going to have to go through an education. It might be $20, it might be $50, but you only have to take it the once. But I want you to understand that you're on my range. You're going to operate as safe as possible.
Right. I don't care what race, religion, gender, political affiliation you belong to. Just come learn to shoot correctly. Come learn about your weapon. Come learn to shoot and use it correctly.
And if we know how to clean that gun, we might, if you don't know how, we'll break it down for you, show you what you need to do.
Yep.
If we can get a sponsor for firearm cleaning equipment, we'll sell them in the shop.
Right.
We're going to be a brand new business. We're trying to open every single possibility to the public as possible.
Right. And just like the name of the ranch is going to be, we're doing it all on the Second Amendment. Your right to keep and bear arms.
Firearm to receive continued education.
Exactly. And that's what we'll have to continue on.
Yeah. If new firearms come out, if new requirements come out, what have you, if there's a new course, hey, we got to go take a course.
Right. We're not going to be there to tell you what paperwork you got to go through to buy a weapon or anything. That's what the gun shops are for.
Yeah. We're there to teach you about the firearms themselves.
Right. You purchase it, we can teach you from there.
Yep. And it might be as simple as what kind of ammo you should be using. It can be as extensive as how you need to break your gun down. It could be all the way up to the expert course, like this is what you need to expect. This is what you're going to be doing. It could be, there's going to be at least a half dozen different training courses alone. No, Mickey, not necessarily. We're going to try and instill that. Mickey says the attitude that everybody needs to have, unless they have received verifiable training, they need to assume they're a novice who needs more extensive training. They can believe whatever they want to believe. However, you will verify your education to us. be it if you take the beginning, intermediate, or advanced courses to move on to the expert courses, you will take a course. And if you fail that course, you will be required to take the previous course. If you fail that course, you will take the beginner course.
Right. Well, it's like Mike says in there out in Kansas, he's required 40 hours of CE every year on the use of the force. You know, that's probably what we'll be required to do too, going through the courses and getting a license certificate.
That might be, hey, we're shutting the range down for a week. We've got a course to take.
Right. Or one of us go 1 week and we got other people helping us, you know, another one goes next week. It just depends on the situation.
Exactly.
You know, we may have it booked for different events and different things like that when it pops up. So we just have to play it by ear. But we will go through. We'll have a list there knowing when and who and how everybody's got to get trained, when they got to get trained, different things like that.
And it will be the training for people will be an annual class requirement.
Well, Mike, when Cameron gets moved up here and we get this going, me and him will get together and we'll go to Hutchinson, meet up with you, see what all you got going on out there.
Yep.
Because like I said, it's about a 2.5 hour drive north of Manhattan.
But this course, and we're setting up different courses mainly for the education of the police force. You know, the different scenarios. If you want to run them, that's fine. But the basic and intermediate courses, which are mainly for the civilian side, are going to be required every year.
Right.
Now, the initial training requirement to be on the gun range, that might be just a one-time thing. But everything else, you will have an annual certification. Cameron, Missouri.
Yeah. Well, actually, around Gallatin, we're just 15 miles away from Cameron in Davies County.
But it will,
which is a nice county because it's not zoned.
Yeah, but it will require you to maintain your education levels, which is by all means another method to maintain income, but it also maintains your certificates and education.
Right.
Because you don't know, after a year, we may change our requirements. This may be a whole different course from what you certified on, and you have to recertify again. Now, the course rules, the whole range rules should not change. But again, every time you come onto the range, you'll have a waiver stating that you understand the requirements of the rules, understand you're liable for any kind of damages or hazards that happen, stuff like that. But that education course should not change. Once you've taken it and I've verified you understand the rules and requirements, you can utilize the firing range. That just maintains the safety higher than most gun ranges you'll find. Because a lot of gun ranges, you come in, you sign a waiver, you go on about your day.
Yeah, 4 hours isn't that far, Mike.
This one, you'll be required to actually take a course. It might be just an hour class before you shoot, going over the rules, making sure you understand it. If you have any questions, we can answer it there instead of, we're running the gun range and we've got to get set up for an event coming up in 3 hours. If we don't have time to come and check on you every 5 minutes to answer your questions, this also gives us an opportunity to get any awkwardness out of the way prior to you going and actually shooting.
Right.
But again, it's going to be, a $50 for the gun range. It's a $50 fee for that gun range. Well, again, this basic class is just an education on the rules of the range. This is not meant to be a whole long day class. This is meant to be, these are the rules and requirements you need to understand and abide by while you're on this property, while you're shooting on this range, what have you. This is not meant to take your whole day up. You spent $50 to shoot. you had to spend another $50 for this class. We want to push you out there to get ready to go and shoot. Now the more intermediate classing and up, those will probably be longer classes because it's going to have to go, like for the breach house, that might be our intermediate course. You need to understand the rules, the requirements, the safety. Don't shoot up. Don't shoot this direction. You know, pay attention to your surroundings, because we're not trying to make it easy, but there might be a couple of divots in the ground where you're walking. You know, watch where you're walking. There are wild animals that can come onto the property. You understand that there could be snakes, different things like that. That will probably be a longer class, but those are also going to be classes required prior to. It might be the day before you're coming out to utilize the range, but you'll have to take that class prior to going on and utilizing the breach zones.
Right. And another thing we're going to be doing there is once we get it open and rounded up, we'll get with the Department of Conservation and get certified to do the hunter safety course. Because everybody in the state of Missouri, if you was born after January 1st, 1967, you have to go through a hunter safety course to be qualified before you can go hunting. That's why when you move up here, you got to go through the hunter safety course.
I will.
It's easy.
And I'll have to take the hunter safety course as well as the course required to teach the hunter safety course. Right. So will you.
Yep.
But that's going to be to teach people how to cross fencing safely, how to utilize.
That's an 8-hour course is what it is.
So
they go through the books, they talk a lot, and then they take them out and do different scenarios, let them shoot, learn how to carry their weapon in different scenarios.
And we will have fencing set up for both adults and children for that hunter safety course.
Yeah, Mike says it's the same thing out there. They got to do the hunter safety course.
So if you're taking your kids out to hunt and they need the hunter safety course, we can teach that to them, and we can take them to a fence their size for them to safely cross over.
Well, we put a regular fence up like you would find around cattle properties and stuff around here. Then, because there's no special fence just for a little kid. They got to learn how to go over 4 strands of barbed wire.
Well, it'll also teach them for when they're older.
Right.
So that's what I'm planning on for that. This is what you're going to do when you get bigger, but this is what you need to do right now, kind of thing.
Exactly.
No. I requested Cameron. How do you Carl Albertson?
Yeah, you can find Carl Albertson on Facebook.
If you go to Woe Entertainment, he should have a few posts there.
Yeah, I'm the producer of the radio shows on WO Entertainment and everything. I've got me and Cameron do this show, and I do a Paranormal Nation Live radio show. I'm a paranormal investigator also, so you can look me up and everything just on Facebook.
I also do it 1700 somewhere every Sunday.
Exactly.
So
with Athen and sometimes Shay
and Nico.
Yep.
Nico more than Shay so much right now.
Yeah, I'm Carl.
Yeah, he's Carl. I'm Cameron.
They call me the Wizard of Bod.
Yep. This is going to be a huge. So 15 and a half months is the goal to be moved up there, have the property and be moved up there. After that, we're looking at probably 2 to 3 months of building. Depends on how many people we can get, how many hands we can have help us, how quickly we can get the storage units, things like how quickly we can get a welder, get some shacks set up, different things like that.
Right.
So within the first, we're hoping to have classes and courses going within the first about 3 months. After that, we're looking to actually become known at six months to a year.
Yeah. Well,
But that's
I got to put rubber mounts on this every time I bump it or something. It doing.
but it's gonna be a journey and a trip, and it's gonna be difficult. But once it's set up, it's going to be beneficial to a large portion of the country. Even if you can't make it to our range to utilize it, there's still the videos. There's still YouTube and Facebook that you can come and watch the spoofs. You can pay to watch the breaching. You can come and pay to watch what we do on the gun ranges on our slow days. How to handle your firearms safely. We might do an episode on how to clean your firearms.
Right.
Different things like that. If we have requests, we can do that.
We'll do a lot of content on the website with everything we do and videos. And so he's a licensed private detective in Kansas.
Your goal is to be better to Frontside Academy in Las Vegas. I have no idea what that is.
We'll have to look up Front Sight Academy in Las Vegas.
Well,
he's looking it up right now on the other computer. But yeah, send us messages, anything you want us to talk about on the Second Amendment Ranch Show. Like I said, we get this started, we'll be picking a state out each week and going through the different laws and permits and stuff that you got to have in the states.
yes, the goal is better be than Frontside Las Vegas.
I take it it's not that good.
That's what we talked about last night. They have basic gun ranges. They go over basic gun safety, and they have a breach house, but that breach house is about it. It's the same layout every time. They might have different scenarios for that layout, but it does not help you for your home, for where you live. It doesn't train police on how to breach in different scenarios. It's an advanced training for average people.
Right.
But it is not an intense training for advanced.
But there again, like we talked about the breach houses and stuff like that, our local rural communities with the sheriff's department and the police department up in this area don't really have a good place to go and train. Because they're not going to drive up asphalted and concrete roads to the house. Out here in rural America, it's gravel roads, way back off the road. Some of the driveways, I can show you driveways up here that are half a mile to a mile long.
And how many 1,000-yard gun ranges do you know of?
In this area, none.
Texas, the longest one I know of is 600 yards. And
Yeah.
you have to qualify it. You have to actually qualify 300, 400, 500 yards all the way out to their 600 yards. You can't just go out and use it.
Right.
Ours, you can use it.
Right.
Because we're going to have 300 to 1,000 yards on that range.
Exactly.
So if you want to shoot at 300 yards, if you want to shoot at 500 yards, by all means, go for it. If you want to try and hit 1,000 yards, cool. I don't care. It's still $100.
That's right. And that'll be interesting seeing people shoot at 1,000 yards.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. Because they're going to get curious. Well, I was
Yeah.
here to shoot at 300 yards. I hit it.
Yeah.
I shot at 400 yards. I hit it. Shot at 750. I hit it. I was a little off, but I hit it.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could hit that 1,000 yards.
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
But again, we will film everything.
Yes. Be a
Big
lot of good footage.
Oh, damn it, I was close. Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I was close. I only dropped 22 inches. I got him in the big toe. But
That's
around here, you don't have very many 1,000-yard shots, even with the rifle. Now, out in Kansas, that's a whole different ball game out there when you're hunting muleys.
no.
Yeah, you may have an 800 to 1,000-yard shot.
Well, I'm definitely gonna need help getting the training and certificates that I need to get, and getting Mr. Carl set up on the same thing because he's gonna need them as well.
Yeah.
Plus, whoever I hire is eventually going to need to take those classes as well, especially firearm safety instructor courses, so they can become a range officer. Because we have what is it, Carter's Country down here, and their range officers are like high school kids pulled off the street that needed a weekend job and really don't care what they're doing.
Oh my God.
I don't need you on my range.
No.
I don't. Somebody breaks blue. You need to determine, for my requirements, you need to determine if that person is safe to shoot you or not. Because if they break blue more than twice, you've warned them once for the first time they broke blue. They broke it again, and you have, hey, this is your last warning. After this, you're going home. If they're handling their firearms unsafely, if they're pointing it at the wrong areas, if they turn and point it at the house, if they,
They're gone.
if they can't handle the malfunctions appropriately, you need to know if they need to get sent home, or you need to know how to handle that malfunction. Because if they're coming out to learn, you need to teach them. And that's the whole goal for this. You need to educate these people on how to safely utilize their guns. But if they're doing it everything unsafely, you've given them all the warning. You need to be the determining factor of, no, you got to go. You need to run the basic class again. And then you need to bring that information to me, take note of his name and everything, and tell us, hey, if he comes back, we need to run him through, and he needs to take another basic course so he can shoot here.
Right. And like Mike said, that determination needs to be made in a split second. Correct.
Very much so. This is not, well, no, he broke blue 3 times. He's going home.
He's packing up and going.
He pointed at the house. That was one of the rules he signed up immediately. You're going home. You pointed at the parking lot. You're going home. You pointed the gun into the ground and shot. You're going home.
Exactly.
And if they say no, you need to make you need to be educated enough to make the determination. Do I need to pull my gun on this guy? Call the higher ups and call the police and get them out here immediately. Because these are going to be scenarios while you're running that and we're running something else. If you have a situation like that, if we still need our attention over here, you have to be the determining factor. We can't just, some of the times we're not going to be able to bounce back and forth to do what we're doing over here and then come back over here, fix this problem. Exactly. This is a highly dangerous education we're going to be providing.
Right. Because guns don't kill people. People kill people.
So when you're running my ranges, I need to trust that you know what to do immediately.
Right.
That's another good reason to hire veterans. Most of them already have a good combat training.
Right. They've got training with weapons somewhere in the military. I don't care if you're in the general store on the base, the PX. You had training somewhere down through there.
Yep. And I agree. High schoolers don't understand that. That's why I have no intentions of hiring high schoolers. But if you're a high schooler, you can afford to buy a gun, or you're coming out with your dad to shoot a gun.
And you better have a hunter safety course.
Well, you need the hunter safety course, you need the basic range course, and you need to be able to pass the basic range test. Plus, if you fuck up, you're going home and your dad's going home, and he's not going to be happy.
No.
Because now you failed, you have to take that class all over again, and his day got cut short. If you want to shoot for 3-4 hours, that's fine. It's $50. And I agree that not all vets are good candidates, and that's why there will be a hiring process. There will be an actual interview. I will need your resume designed specifically for this job. I don't need a basic. A lot of people, I make a basic resume for whenever I apply for a normal job. That's a normal job. This is not.
Right.
This is by no means a normal job. So that's why one of the prerequisites is you're going to have to bring a gun out and shoot.
Exactly.
I'm going to need you because you will be carrying the entire time you're on this property. You're going to have to know when, how, and we might put you in part of the interviewing process. We might put you in simulation scenarios where you have to draw a gun.
Right. To final out your application.
Hey, we've got a guy. He's being belligerent. He's being an ass. He's pointing his gun at everything. What do you do? What do you do? How are you going to handle that? Do you need to get into the armory first to go and get one of the long guns to handle him? Can you handle it with your pistol? What kind of scenario can we put you in that's going to determine if you're a good candidate to work for us?
Very few people could pass my requirements: shooting, decision making, ability to tell me no or put me on the ground. Exactly.
I'm going to have some very high standards for this because you're going to be one of the frontline defenders against somebody being an ass.
You're going to be the frontline defender of the Second Amendment.
Yeah. We don't need somebody being an idiot on our property and getting our business shut down because of it.
Right. We don't want to be on the 6 o'clock news.
No. Well, not without our...
Not in that situation. Yeah. We'd like to be on 6 o'clock news, talking about what we're doing.
Exactly. But we do not intend on being on that side of the news.
No. No. Never want to be on that.
I agree, 100. They need to have a bouncer mentality. If somebody's being fucked up, can you get them out of there quickly? And I did work at bars. I do have a bouncer mentality. And that's why I'm going to need you to provide me your resume focusing on how you can benefit my company. It doesn't have to be laid out like a resume. You can give me 3 pages of a script telling me how you're good. But I'm going to need some kind of written language telling me why you're a good candidate and why I should interview you. But that's going to be more along the, range safety officers, the breaching safety officers, the education officers for the safety courses, hunter safety course teachers, stuff like that. Now, if I hire you to run the shop, if I hire you to run the store, I'm not probably going to require you to understand all of that. I might have to have you understand the basic range rules, have some kind of a bouncer mentality, and carry every day because you're the front line. You are the very first person people are going to see.
Right.
Because that shop is going to be where you come in, get everything signed, prove your education to us, and then go out on your about your day.
Right. You're there to protect the other people that are there.
You're the first
and
person.
Take care of the situation.
But you're there to run the store. So I don't expect as much education because you're there for the store. But I need you to understand if something starts to hit the fan,
you better be there.
You need to be there and who you need to start calling up.
Right.
Whether it be the other range safety officers or me, Mr. Carl, whoever I have working.
Or 911.
Yeah. It's Navy SEAL. The other was an officer too.
And Navy SEAL.
Nope. No. I've got high standards.
Neither one work for me anymore.
I'm going to have very high standards. I can tell you right now, if you go out in the range and you break blue once during the interview process, we will not call you.
Right.
You have to prove to me you are a competent shooter without taking any of the classes I require. You're going to have to prove to me that you can go out there, shoot safely, effectively, accurately with no speed bumps. Because if you've got one, bye. If I can't trust you to keep your gun pointed down range all the time, how can I trust you to pay attention to everybody else to keep their gun down range?
Right. Okay, well, we've been on here for about 2 hours talking about the ranch and everything, but they can tune in Monday nights. What time do you want to do the show?
Is Monday just open right now?
Well, until William McDonald gets over his grieving process for his grandmother, he'll be on a show Monday night. He'll probably want to do it. Either our show will be on at 7 to 8 or 8 to 9.
I was going to try and do. That's right. You work Mondays. When do you get home?
Well, usually, if everything goes right, I'm home by 5 o'clock.
Okay, so we can start the show. So we'll do 7 to 9.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll do 7 to 9.
And we'll see what time he wants to do his show. We'll work it out one way or the other. But yeah. So tune in Monday night. We'll start. What state do you want to start with? You want to start with Texas or Missouri?
Let's start with Texas.
Okay. Yeah, the Seal was a Blue Falcon. The Novus couldn't handle the standards.
Oh no, we will not have any Blue Falcons. You will not be a buddy fucker on my ranch. You will not be a buddy fucker. If you come and snitch out every little thing that this dude has done, whether it be to get things done safe or quicker in a safe manner, you just don't like that dude. You keep coming to me and bitching and moaning. Oh, I need more money. I'm trying to screw him because he makes more money than I do. You're fired.
Right.
Pack your shit and go the fuck home.
Right. Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in this Christmas Eve. Hopefully you had a great Christmas spent with your families and everything. And we'll be back on here Monday night. We'll do this Monday night at 7 to 9 Central Time. So check us out. And I'm Carl.
I'm Cameron. And welcome to the Second Amendment Ranch.
Good night.